Most people think autism is something other. But what if it's actually a mirror showing us how every brain works? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain doesn't really see or hear the world. It guesses, constantly. And when those guesses stop matching reality, that's where autism can reveal its secrets. Today I'm going to show you 5 ways your brain builds reality, how it predicts, filters, focuses, connects, and reads your body's signals. We'll try simple demos so you can feel these systems in action, the same ones that make autism such a powerful mirror for all of us. By the end, I think you'll see yourself and others a little differently. And who am I to tell you that autism isn't a disorder, but a mirror for every mind? My name is Dr. Sulman Aziz Mirza, triple board certified in adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and addiction medicine. And after more than a decade of working with autistic individuals, I learned that humanity, not just autism, is a spectrum. Though if you ask around, apparently the local Autism Moms Facebook group already figured that out. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Your brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't wait for the world, it guesses what's about to happen, then checks if it was right. Every sight, every sound, every word you hear starts as a prediction, not a perception. When your brain's guess matches reality, you feel calm. When it doesn't, you feel that little jolt of something's off. That's prediction error, the brain's version of, uh-oh. Most of us smooth those moments out automatically. But in autism, the brain may treat more of those mismatches as important. It doesn't filter them away. So the world feels louder, newer, less predictable, like every day is the first day at a new job. Let me show you how your own brain does this. Picture the famous the CHT illusion. When you see THE space CHT, your brain fills in the gap, the cat. It's using context to guess the middle symbol. That's predictive coding in action. Top-down expectations shaping what you think you see. Usually that shortcut saves you time. But when the system gives extra weight to raw data or doesn't trust its own predictions, the context stops helping. The room you've been in 1,000 times feels slightly off. The hum of the fridge won't fade. The lights flicker like they're shouting. One of my autistic patients said, "I'm not being difficult. My brain just won't let the noise fade into the background." That line stuck with me because uncertainty is stressful for every brain. Deadlines, vague instructions, new software, those all trigger prediction errors too. You felt it, that foggy, tense state where small changes feel big. Autism magnifies it, but it's the same system we all run on. So here's what actually helps any brain. Reducing uncertainty so predictions get stronger. For a meeting or social plan, send a 2-sentence preview. We'll start with A, then decide B. Expect 30 minutes. That's not coddling, it's stabilizing a noisy system. The mistake is calling that need for structure rigidity. It's not rigidity, it's scaffolding. A way to keep the model steady so it doesn't drown in change. Once the system feels anchored, flexibility actually improves. I've seen it firsthand. A patient who used to panic at surprise schedule shifts stayed calm because they'd gotten a short preview and a fallback plan. Their brain finally had something to stand on. So try it yourselves. When a task feels heavier than it should, ask what prediction here is unclear. Clarity comes first, effort comes second. And once you see that your brain runs on guesses, the next question is obvious. Which one gets through? And that's where salience begins. Right now, your brain is swimming in input. Sounds, colors, pressure on your chair, even the temperature in the room. But you're not feeling all of that, are you? That's because your brain is a bouncer, the salience network, deciding what gets in and what stays out. Different salience, different world. In autism, that bouncer works from a slightly different list. So things you tune out, a buzzing light, overlapping voices, or rough shirt tag, might get front row seats in someone else's awareness. Let's test this out. If you're wearing headphones or listening, imagine I start adding in sounds, office chatter, keyboard clicks, a music loop, and a faint beep every few seconds. Now try to focus on one word. Focus. Hard, right? That's sensory gating under strain. Even without the audio, you can feel what it's like when your brain can't decide what matters most. Normally, your attention system ranks input by meaning. That's why you can hear your name in a crowded room. Context flips the priority. But imagine if your brain tagged too many signals as important. Every hum, flicker, or whisper competes for urgent. One autistic patient told me the background noise feels like alarms. My body thinks I'm in danger. That's not overreaction. That's a nervous system doing exactly what it's been told. There's a fire somewhere. Stay alert. You can't logic your way past a body that's been told there's a fire. You have to change the inputs, or change how the brain tags them. So how do you help the system breathe again? By simplifying the world around it. Keep it to 3 sensory layers: voice, visuals, and maybe notifications. Add music, something else steps out. That's the 3-layer rule. It keeps your nervous system from running out of bandwidth. Try this for the next 24 hours. Audit your workspace. Turn off one sensory stream, banner pings, playlist vocals, whatever, and see what changes. Most people notice they exhale for the first time all day. And when you start noticing what actually breaks through, you're ready for the next layer. Not sensing, but interpreting. That's where social cognition and the double empathy idea come in next. Reading minds. Sounds like magic, right? But your brain does it all day, guessing what people mean from tone, context, and experience. You're not actually understanding others. You're running mental simulations and hoping your guesses are close enough. When those guesses land, conversation feels smooth. When they miss, you feel that awkward jolt, the social version of something's off. Autism reveals how fragile that guessing game really is. Not because empathy is missing, but because the rulebook is different. Here's a quick mirror moment. Think of the last time you misread a text. You saw sure and thought, oh no, they're mad at me. Later you learned they were just rushing between tasks. That's your own mini version of misattunement. Your brain filled in the blanks with a guess, and the guess was wrong. In autism, that happens more often, not from lack of care, but from different interference rules. Here's the thing. Theory of mind isn't telepathy. It's a best guess algorithm. Some brains rely on tone and subtext. Others prefer literal cues and patterns. Neither's broken. They're just calibrated differently. So when 2 people use different rulebooks, each side misreads the other. That's the double empathy problem. Misunderstanding as a 2-way street. One autistic patient told me, I'm not cold, I just need clarity. Meanwhile, the other person might be thinking, they don't care. Both people are caring deeply, they're just decoding through different filters. Sometimes, the smallest changes in communication fix the biggest misunderstandings. So, try these. Ask before assuming. Hey, can I check how you meant that? Be clear about details. The who, the what, the when, and by when. And signal your preferences early. Text for quick stuff, call for big ones. Each one shrinks the gap between the minds. If you take just one thing from this section, let it be this line. Don't say, you should know. Say, here's how I'm reading this. Tell me if I'm off. That signal move turns your mind reading into teamwork. Try it once in the next 24 hours. Send the message, ask the question, and notice how quickly the tension drops. Because attention isn't scattered, it's shaped. And that takes us to the next part of the story, the attention tunnel. Attention isn't a flashlight you wave around. It's a tunnel, sometimes narrow, sometimes wide. And what gets inside shapes your whole reality. Monotropism is the brain style that prefers fewer, deeper channels instead of constant sampling. For many autistic people, that tunnel runs deep. One topic lights up, everything else dims. But you felt it too. Remember editing at 2 a.m. or gaming until you look up and realize hours vanished. That's the tunnel. When you're locked in, sounds fade, time blurs, your breathing slows, your entire body joins the focus. Hyperfocus isn't stubbornness, it's immersion. One autistic patient told me pulling me out mid-task feels like being yanked from underwater. That image says it all. Because when you're that deep, interruption feels physical, like your brain just got unplugged from the matrix. And here's a twist. That tunnel is powerful. It's how complex skills, art, and breakthroughs happen. The problem isn't the tunnel. It's the turbulence when we switch tracks. So instead of fighting focus, design around it. Protect your deep work windows. Give transitions a ramp, not a cliff. I use a simple 3-step loop: entry ritual, exit note, and next anchor. The entry ritual is always the same. Open the document, silence the phone, set a timer. The exit note, right where you stopped and what comes next. The next anchor, leave yourself a breadcrumb, a highlight, a sticky note, even a half-finished line. That way, your brain never re-enters the tunnel blind. For teams or families, time box pivots. 2 minutes, then we'll pause. That tiny warning lets the brain close its loop. It's not permission, it's physics. And if someone's interest seems too narrow, widen the bridge instead of blocking the tunnel. Depth builds mastery. It's how skill and meaning grow. Try this for the next 24 hours. Choose one task that deserves your full tunnel. Give it 25 minutes to focus. No multitask lies. When you stop, jot your exit note and notice how much energy you get back when you finish cleanly. That's focus working for you, not against you. And once you can steer that focus on purpose, the next question is internal. The signals beneath the surface. Interoception. Every feeling starts as a signal from the body. Interoception is your internal dashboard. Heartbeat, breath, hunger, tension, temperature. It answers a simple question: how am I right now? But here's the thing. Not everyone's dashboard updates the same way. For some people, the signals are faint. For others, they're deafening. Autism often magnifies that difference. But the truth is, we all miss signals. You ever realize too late that you're starving or that your jaw's been clenched for an hour? That's interoception lag. Try this with me. Notice your breathing, just for a second. Did it change because I mentioned it? That's attention modulating a body signal in real time. The reason this matters is simple. If your brain can't label the signal, it guesses. And when your body says something's off, but your mind can't name it, that signal turns into anxiety, irritation, or dread. You're not broken, your system's just guessing with missing data. One autistic patient once told me, "Sometimes I can't tell if I'm hungry, anxious, or tired. It all feels like too much." That line hits home for everyone. When the internal dashboard blurs, regulation breaks. You try to motivate harder when you need rest. You push through noise when you need quiet. And from the outside, people see calm faces masking chaos underneath. External composure doesn't mean internal balance. So how do we help the system sync up again? We start small. Schedule the basics: food, water, rest. Predictable cues anchor the body before the mind can follow. Add gentle movement, a short walk, a stretch, even quiet rocking to release buildup without spiking arousal. Then label what you feel. Quick body scan, jaw tight, chest warm, stomach empty. Naming the sensations gives your brain coordinates, and the guessing starts to quiet down. Try the 3-check loop every 90 minutes or so. Thirst, tension, breath. Add just one cue for 2 minutes. Sip some water, drop your shoulders, or make your exhales slightly longer than your inhales. Watch how quickly your mind follows your body, because meltdowns and shutdowns aren't willpower problems, they're overload signals. The fix isn't a pep talk, it's restoring balance. Once your internal dashboard becomes readable, the rest of the system, prediction, focus, empathy, clicks back into sync. And when you start listening inward, you realize something powerful. Regulation isn't about control, it's about connection. Which leads us to the final piece, how we talk about the difference itself. The hardest myths to break are the ones that sound like kindness. High functioning, low functioning, mild, severe. Those labels don't describe people, they describe context. The same person can thrive in one environment and struggle in another. Capability isn't fixed, it flexes with clarity, structure, and support. So instead of labeling people, describe the environment. Say, needs predictable transitions, not rigid. Say, needs clarity before changes, not inflexible. Words shape worlds. And masking, it isn't deceit, it's survival. Many autistic people spend their whole day trying to predict what versions of themselves feel safe to others. That's exhausting, not because they lack empathy, but because they're managing yours. So if you want to understand someone, start by assuming good intent. Ask for clarity instead of control. Co-create norms instead of enforcing them. And when in doubt, ask, what helps your brain feel steady? It's not coddling, it's respect. One of my favorite lines from a parent was, when I stopped trying to fix my son and started learning with him, everything changed. That's the mind shift. Autism isn't a riddle to solve. It's a relationship to understand. And here's your 24-hour challenge. When you describe someone, at work, at home, online, stop before you use a label. Replace it with a need or a strength. They need clear steps. They're great under routine. One word change can ripple into how you treat them. Because when you understand autism, you don't just understand them, you understand yourself. Autism isn't an island. It's a magnifying glass, showing how every brain predicts, filters, focuses, and feels. If you understand autism, you start to understand what makes any mind human. So before you click away, try one small experiment today. Preview your next meeting in 2 sentences. Turn off one sensory stream. Ask for clarity before you assume. Or do a quick body check. Jaw, breath, shoulders. You'll be amazed how much calmer, clearer, and kinder the world feels when you tune your brain instead of fighting it. And if this video helped something click, I love to hear what part hit you the most. What did you notice about your own mind while watching? Drop it in the comments below. I read them, and your insights often shape what I make next. And if you're ready to keep going, the next video I recommend is Autism or ADHD, or is it Autism and ADHD? I've linked that one below for you. It connects what you just learned about prediction and focus to why attention sometimes chooses you, and how the same circuits link both connections. Oh, and if you're new here, subscribe for videos that make the brain make sense, one mechanism at a time. Because the more we understand each other, the more human we all become. Until next time, be safe and be well.